Welcome to KQEG and Seven Rivers Sports. I'm your host, Terry Erickson. Each week, an inside look into sports, wellness, and into fitness. Well, this week, an outstanding student athlete from Holmen High School, senior, just graduated. My guest this week, Jaedon Abraham. Welcome to the show, Jaedon.
Thanks for having me.
Interesting spring for you with the virus. Interesting spring bringing out a variety of emotions. An abrupt ending to what you were hoping would be another return to state and track and field. Spring banquets, graduation, all of this taken away from you. You're recovered now in terms of getting over the emotion, but it must have been a very difficult time for you.
Yeah, I feel like it was kind of a roller coaster because when this all started, they never really definitively said like it's over. And there was always like a little hope that we could go back, but kind of just like slowly faded away after that.
Well, those people involved in having kids or even being involved in as an athlete themselves, having all of that taken away in an abrupt way, wow, that is difficult. Is that something, when you reflect back on that, I mean, now you've accepted it, but you didn't accept it right away, did you?
No, I always thought we could go back, so maybe it was like kind of a coping mechanism to like still think we could go back, but...
All of us have setbacks in our life, and we'll talk about your injuries, maybe a couple things in your life. Was that the biggest setback you've ever had?
I'd say so, because that was right when I got my starting spot on varsity. So when I broke my wrist in football, that was like a big blow, but like I still had to go to all the workouts in the morning and focus on the team even though I couldn't play. So I think it like made me grow as a person though, even though it was a big setback.
The other issue that faces this country, of course, is the racial issues, and probably the most difficult time in the history of this country. And I think things are better now, but this community, I think, epitomizes how we've accepted different kids from different races and so on, and I'm proud of that. And how do you feel about maybe the racial issues that you've experienced?
Well, I feel like this country has come a long way from where it started with like racism, but we still have a far way to go. But in my personal experience, like the things I've experienced, they're not like blatantly racist acts. It's just like my friends joking around and like we're all just having a good time. But I feel like they could all try to work on it with some of the things they say and stuff like that. But I feel like it's gotten a lot better. But with this recent stuff going on in the country, I feel like it's just bringing up a lot more tension that we don't need to have right now.
How would you change things if you had the ability to do that?
I feel like one thing I would change is like how the media portrays everything. Like with the riots, they're always showing like certain clips of just the police acting violently towards the protesters and things like that. But they need to show like the full clip of maybe like the protester throwing something at the cop and things like that. But like that's the main thing I would change. They need to show both sides of everything so people can get their own opinions about it.
Again, our guest this week, Jaedon Abraham, just graduated, senior student athlete from Holmen High School, a tremendous athlete. We watched Jaedon play football for the Vikings in all the games that we broadcast, complimented him quite often during the football season. As you reflect back, before we get to that, as you reflect back to growing up, going down memory lane, you have a gift. Maybe somebody, when you were very young, saw that gift in Jaedon.
I feel like it was my grandfather, Jeff. He put in a lot of work with me during the off season for each sport, always playing catch with me, kicking the balls to me for football, always throwing BP to me for baseball. So I feel like he was always there for me with my sports just because he cared about me and he thought I was special in athletics.
Well, I know Jeff very well, and you weren't privileged to know his father, who I knew very well also from Freddie's Market, Fred Abraham, who's on the Boys and Girls Club Wall of Fame. Did you know that?
I didn't.
And so he was a hero of mine. When you look at athletes, though, I mean, I know You indicated in your profile that your grandfather's one of your heroes and inspired you. As you look back at your athletic career, were there any athletes that you tried to model yourself after?
Growing up, I really liked watching Kyrie Irving, just because he's so shifty and crafty on the court, and I kind of saw that in myself. Like, I'm not the biggest out there, but I'm pretty fast and shifty, so I kind of tried to model myself after him.
You know, you had a lot of success in football. We talked about that. You were a dangerous part of that Viking offense. You certainly recorded some great games. We broadcast a lot of those. I talked to your coach, Travis Kowalski, just the other day. He has fond memories of you playing and said you were kind of the danger on the edge. A couple players ran inside the tackles, but you were the guy on the outside, and we saw that too. And you had speed on the outside, and you were a defensive back against teams like Central that ran the spread. And we watched you with kickoff return too, so you were talented in a variety of ways.
Yeah, it's just nice to have a different array of talents that you can bring to the team. It just helps having like different sets you can bring.
You know, you blended well with a team of a lot of gifted athletes. All conference performer as a senior. And talking to Travis Kowalski, he talked about your contributions even as a sophomore, and then it was a very difficult situation with you not playing as a junior, but coming back as a senior, and again, all conference honors. Part of a team that won 20 games or so in 3 years. One of the most successful football programs in the area. Share to our viewers the culture of Holmen High School football.
The culture over there is just based around brotherhood. So from team camp in July all the way to the playoffs, like, we're always just together, always going to morning lifts, always working together. Even for playoffs, we always get mohawks and dye our hair together. So it's just a big brotherhood over there based on hard work.
You know, I noticed even after games, when we're packing up equipment, ready to leave, you guys all come over to your fans and sing your school fight song.
Yeah, it's down in the valley. It's really nice. And then we have the Viking Creed that we sing, not sing, but say in front of the student section. So it's just all based on brotherhood over there.
So training camp, that's where the coaches plant the seed. Take us through a typical training camp.
So we normally start off inside watching film, going over plays, teaching all the new kids, like the underclassmen, what we do in Holmen, and then usually go outside, start stretching, and then we really just start grinding. We just start going through all the formations and everything like that, and then for 2 days we go back home and come back and basically do the same thing. So.
And it's been a key to success. And one of the things I like about Holmen football is that you platoon. So everyone gets a chance to play, and the numbers have really skyrocketed in terms of numbers of players competing in football, whereas many other schools in many other parts of the country, the numbers have declined.
Yeah, so I think that's based on the brotherhood that we have in our school. So people want to come out and join our team. And when you have numbers like that, it just makes it easier for everybody, because when you have a kid going both ways and in the fourth quarter it's a close game, they're going to gas out, and that's just not beneficial for the team. So it's always great having big numbers like Holmen has.
You know, when you look at the matchups of Holmen during probably in the history of Holmen football, it's always been that rivalry between Onalaska and Holmen, and that seems to have gotten you even to play at the peak of your abilities.
Yeah, it's always fun having that crosstown rival, just to go in there and compete. I think the Onalaska game for my senior year was definitely the most fun I've ever had in the game, even though we lost, because the atmosphere of games like that is just awesome, and it's so fun to go out there with your friends and just battle on the field.
When you think of teams that go to the postseason year in and year out, you think of the Holmen Vikings.
Yeah.
And you've had a lot of success, and you've had some difficult games. And you mentioned earlier before you went on the air that Menominee was probably one of your most difficult opponents.
Yeah, we didn't see him in the playoffs this year, but I can recall in the past years before I even played, it's always just a dogfight every time we go there. They're just a really good team, well coached. They got some big kids, some talented kids, and they hit hard. It's a battle every time you play them.
Coach Kowalski again told me just the other day that you sort of came out of nowhere. You just you transformed yourself into a gifted athlete because of your work habits, and you demonstrated that leadership in the weight room, in the off season, and you really sent a powerful message to your teammates and to underclassmen. What's your thought on that?
I think it's very important to stay in the weight room from freshman year to senior year and always put in some extra work. I really have to thank Jason Luloff for making the nutrition programs we have and the weightlifting programs, because when I came in my freshman year, I was like 5'3", 99 pounds, and then at the start of football, I was like 5'8", 150, and then it was mostly all muscle because of the programs we have at Holmen. So it's just very important to stay in the weight room and always do the exercises your coaches tell you.
When you think of weight programs in the area, you think of Holmen, you think of Jason,
Yeah.
because he's been on our show, tremendous wrestling coach also, but has just excited the whole student body on weightlifting.
Yeah, it's awesome. Like, I feel like we look up to him because he's a pretty ripped dude. So we thought maybe freshman year, maybe we can look like him, and most of us ended up looking like him. So it's pretty nice. And like the way he just gets you interested in weightlifting and all the new techniques he shows you, it's great what Holmen's doing.
Yeah, well, it shows with you, because you've transformed yourself from a smaller kid to a competitive athlete because of your dedication in the off season. Well, we're going to step aside just for a minute. When we come back, more here on Seven River Sports.
With our busy lives, it's a comfort to know that we can still remember loved ones in a traditional way with a monument. Lewiston Monuments in Lewiston, Minnesota has been helping families purchase a monument for over 4 generations. You'll find a large selection of beautiful granite, marble, and bronze monuments, all at competitive prices. And they're a full-service company, so they also do straightening, cleaning, and repair of monuments. Stop in or call for a no-obligation consultation, or visit lewistonmonument.com for more information.
You know, the thing I'm most proud of when I think about our company is the reputation that we've been able to build in this community. Our technicians have done a great job going out and performing magnificent jobs for the customer. And our customers have rewarded us with some really great reviews online.
We have over 150 5-star reviews online right now. Our technicians do a great job out there, and our reviews show it.
We can say without hesitation, when you choose Schneider Heating and Air Conditioning, you'll be glad you did.
Welcome back to Seven River Sports. This week, Jaedon Abraham, tremendous student athlete from Holmen High School, just graduated, on his way to the next chapter in his life. But before we get to that chapter, I noticed in your profile that you were an excellent student too. You were on the honor roll, student of the month, highest honor roll, by the way. So your priorities were where they should have been: student, athlete.
Yeah, all the coaches I've ever had at Holmen, they always made that very clear to every athlete that being a student comes first. So they definitely helped us with that. And even with Travis Kowalski, he always had grade checks that every football player had to do. All the teachers had to sign off if we were behaving in class and everything like that. So it definitely helped.
Were you behaving in class all the time?
Sometimes. not. I tried my hardest, but
Something
sometimes.
tells me, I don't know if our viewers would agree, that you probably talked once in a while in class.
Probably.
Did you?
Yeah.
So your teacher had to say, "No, Jaedon, quit talking so much."
I've been sent out in the hallway a couple times.
There's nothing wrong with that, though.
Yeah.
You just have
I
that.
just get bored
You
sometimes.
just have that infectious personality, right?
Yeah, I guess so.
So if I asked the students around Holmen to describe Jaedon Abraham, what would they say?
They'd probably say I'm just a loud, funny, outgoing kid. So
With a great smile?
hopefully.
I can see that right now.
Yeah.
We talked before we went on the air about your sister, who I know quite well from Central, and she's got the same tremendous smile that you
Yeah.
have.
Must be from our mom.
Certainly was,
Yeah.
or is. So, did you have a favorite class while you were at Holmen?
I'd say it's probably like my favorite class was either foods or gym class, just because I don't like, it's fun learning new things and just competing in gym class, but other than that, it's probably language class, because you just get to write down what you're thinking, and then you get to learn even more, and they get to critique your writing. So, and that'll go on to help us in college too with writing. So,
Favorite teacher?
Probably Travis Kowalski. Having him as a football coach, and then I think I had him in genocide, so that was fun, learning new things with him on and off the field.
Good, good. Yeah, he's a friend of mine too, and I can't grow a beard quite like him, but
It's usually hanging down to his beard.
yes. So, but and he's an interesting guy to talk to also.
Yeah.
But before we go into the next chapter of your life, let's go to the track season. Now, you were positioned to go back to state. Certainly, one of your defining moments during your high school career was going to state.
Yeah.
And that was taken away from you. But I talked to your coach, Coach Learberg, and he mentioned that he'd worked with you since you were a freshman, that your positive energy, your work habits, all the things that you put forth into the sport of track and field got you to that level of competing at state.
Yeah, I definitely have to thank all the track coaches from Holmen, because when I was coming in freshman year, I wasn't the biggest kid, so I couldn't compete with all the upperclassmen and PR the same way they were. So I just got to thank them for not giving up on me and just giving me all the technique that I needed to get all the way to state my junior year.
Events that you excelled at?
I definitely say the 300 hurdles. That was one of my strong suits my junior year, and then long jump probably my junior year.
And is that what you would have competed in this year too?
Yeah, the 110s, 300s, long jump, and triple jump.
Well, you went to state. Have any schools looked at you and talked to you about competing at the next level?
Some small D3, D2 schools have, but I think my main focus in college was academics, so that's why I chose Madison.
Okay. Speaking of Madison, you're accepted, which in itself is an accomplishment. Our grandson, also Julian, you probably know Julian.
Yep.
He'll be in Madison starting next month. Have you been given any indication of what classes may look like in the fall?
Yeah, they sent out an email that said any class over 100 people is going to be all online. And then I'm not sure about if the rec centers or anything are going to be open, but we're definitely going into the dorms like August 28th, so that'll be fun. And hopefully all this corona stuff clears up so we can start like maybe having classes in person and being able to have intramural sports and things like that, so that would be nice.
Well, Julian is hoping the same thing, but yeah. I think there may be a hybrid version of those classes. You may not be in school all the time, but we're hoping the best. And let's move into the academic side of Madison. Your career, your major?
I haven't decided a major yet, but I know it's going to be something with business, because like my role model, Jeff, my grandpa, he was always a great salesman. So I hope maybe I can follow in his footsteps and become a salesman, or maybe do something with business communications, something like that.
Any coaching, volunteer coaching, or getting into that field at all?
Maybe. I did have one of my track coaches say that maybe I could try that out, maybe after college, things like that. But that would definitely be fun.
How about hobbies for Jaedon Abraham?
Well, I know you saw me bridge jumping. I like doing that with my friends. That's fun. But other than that, just playing video games, just going hot tubbing with my friends, swimming.
Do you remember what I said to you when I was biking and saw you getting ready to jump off that bridge?
You didn't like it, not one bit. You said, my grandson was here. Oh, I'd yell at him right now.
We just don't want anything to happen to you. You've seemed to acquire the ability to be mentally tough. A lot of people that have a gift, a lot of athletes that are really gifted struggle mentally to discipline themselves. And you have not seemed to have that problem.
Yeah, I mean, it's a tough mindset to get into, like waking up every morning for football lifts at 6 a.m. Like, that can be tough, like midway through the season, but it's just something that you just got to dig deep down and keep doing it. So,
you know, authors have point toward being an elite high school athlete like you have been to a series of qualities that set them apart from average athletes. And one of them is coachability. Going into each practice with an appetite for learning. And that describes you, doesn't it?
Yeah, I'd say so, because in track, like I said, freshman year, I wasn't the best athlete, and the coaches, they kept telling me everything, the techniques I needed to work on, and I think that definitely shows how I was taught to do the right thing since I made it to state junior year.
Another quality to get to a high level is handling setbacks. You handled a setback as a junior. Was that a difficult time for you?
I'd say it was very difficult. I think the worst part of it was when the trainer said he thought I was a dislocated wrist at first, so he said I would be out for a week, and that was a tough setback in itself. But after they found out it was broken and I was out for basically the entire season, that it hurt, but it was a big setback. But I knew I had to stay strong because I still had wrestling I needed to do my junior year and then track, so I knew I had to keep strong during all of that, but it was tough.
Made you mentally tougher.
Yeah.
A defining moment in Jaedon Abraham's young life.
Yes, it was.
Athletes that are gifted like you are on a platform. You're on a platform at school, in the hallways, after school, in the community. Sometimes athletes have a hard time accepting that. How do you feel about athletes being on that platform?
I feel like it's necessary for them to be on that platform because they're the ones that everybody's watching on Friday nights, so they have to hold themselves to a higher standard, I feel like. So I think it's necessary that they're on that platform.
If you could have, I ask this occasionally, but looking at people that have inspired you or that are role models, maybe you don't even know them directly, but if you could have lunch or breakfast with somebody from the past or that is living today, who would that be and why?
I'd probably say Kobe, because like the Mamba mentality, I feel like everybody should try to work on a mentality like that, just that they always got to work harder and they always got to put in more effort than everybody else, because at the end of the day, like, hard work beats talent when talent doesn't work hard, so it's just good to have a mindset like Kobe.
What would you ask Kobe?
I'd ask him, how do you just wake up every morning and do the same stuff every day? Because like I said, like, sometimes people don't have the mental toughness to do that every day. So I'd ask him how he got better at that when he was growing up and working on his craft.
Do you know, when you read stories about him, and I've read many of them, talk about his incredible devotion, dedication, commitment to training. Even after a season is over or after a setback, the next day with a coach or with a trainer, he's right back at it. Yeah. And while others become maybe sedentary, become lazy, take days off, he never did.
Yeah, it's just awesome how he can do that. Like, that's why I wanted to talk. Like, I would talk to him so much. Like, the mentality he had was great, and that's what made him one of the greats.
There's a lot of young people that watch this show that are in grade school and middle school and so on. What advice would you give them to try to get to the level that you have achieved?
I'd say just find some friends that you're really close to and just try to work hard with them and find somebody who can push you to be your best self, and then you push them to be their best self, and just stick with them throughout school, high school, maybe college even, and then just keep pushing each other to be the best you can be.
Iron sharpens iron, as it says in the book of Proverbs. You are who you associate with. You have associated with some good people that have taken you to another level. You've been a great teammate, but you've had good teammates.
Yeah, I'd say one of my best friends, Adam Quam, he's a great athlete. We've been friends since elementary school, and I feel like he himself was just such a great friend to me. I wanted to put myself around him, and him being such a great athlete, it made me want to work even harder to be a great athlete too. So it's
and a person.
Yeah.
Because not only is Jaedon Abraham great on the football field, track and field, in the classroom, but a great person too. And you know, one of the great things about the benefits of me being the host of this show for 10 years now is the fact that I get to meet people like Jaedon Abraham, and you get to meet him too here on Seven Rivers Sports. So So it's a privilege to have you on the show, Jaedon.
Thank you.
All right. We'll be back with some closing thoughts right after this.
You know, the thing I'm most proud of when I think about our company is the reputation that we've been able to build in this community. Our technicians have done a great job going out and performing magnificent jobs for the customer. And our customers have rewarded us with some really great reviews online.
We have over 150 5-star reviews online right now. Our technicians do a great job out there, and our reviews show it.
We can say without hesitation, when you choose Schneider Heating and Air Conditioning, you'll be glad you did.
When you're faced with the decision of selecting a monument to honor someone dear to you, call Lewiston Monuments for a no-obligation consultation. Lewiston Monument is a full-service monument company, serving families in Iowa, Minnesota, and Wisconsin for over 4 generations. You'll find beautiful granite, marble, and bronze memorials, all at competitive prices. Their experts can help you design the perfect and unique memorial. Lewiston Monument. Call today or on the web at lewistonmonument.com.
Welcome back to Seven Rivers Sports. I hope you enjoyed our interview with Jaedon Abraham. What a tremendous student athlete representing Holmen High School. Thanks for joining us this week here on Seven Rivers Sports. I'm your host, Terry Erickson, hoping that you will stay safe and healthy in these uncertain times.